Hi everyone, I'm Marisol. If you're new here, welcome to my channel. Welcome to my corner of this YouTube world. If you're not new here, thank you for coming back. Thank you for staying loyal. I appreciate you. In my last video, I told you that I was not going to be uploading as many videos or as often as I was before because we're currently in the middle of a big move. We are living in Miami and we want to move to Central Florida, which is roughly about 5 to 5.5 hours away north of Miami. And we are just very busy with this whole situation. And I wanted to give you another update. I mentioned in the last one that my husband got a job. He's a nurse and he was able to transfer to the same company that he works for in the hospital he works here. So he got a job. I was not so much in a hurry to get a job because we were doing everything you have to do when you're moving, decluttering, packing, figuring things out. Where are you going? And I mentioned he got a job. I hadn't gotten one yet. And we were beginning to do some house hunting. So now what's new? And I'm looking at my notes. That's why I'm looking down. So what's new? I had a few interviews. I had, I think, four. And I got an offer from all four of them. And then I chose one. I called the district where we're moving to and I said, okay, I already said yes to this school. Now what's my next step? They gave me a date for me to go for an orientation, do my background check, my drug test, and physical. So I took my first day off of this whole school year. I took it off on Thursday of last week. And because we had to drive up on Wednesday after work because the appointment was at 9 a.m. on Thursday. And we were not about to wake up that early to get there at 9. So went to the orientation, did everything I had to do, and I went by the school that I'm going to be working at. It was a surprise. They didn't know I was going, and I wanted them to, have a face with the name, even though the interview was through Zoom, but I wanted to meet them in person. I wanted to see the school. I liked what I saw. I liked what I heard. So that's that. Another thing that happened is that at first we were going to get a mortgage together. But then we figured, okay, we don't want to waste any more time. Let's do it under your name, my husband, since he got his job really quickly and he had an offer letter that the loan officer needed in order to process the mortgage application. So we said, okay, let's do it through you first, and that way we start, we get the ball rolling. We did that, but then we weren't satisfied with the amount they were giving him. So we're like, okay, so let me hurry up. I didn't want the pressure, but now I had the pressure of looking for a job. And I guess I told you the story the other way around. So that's how I got my job. So when the loan officer told my husband how much they are willing to loan him for this mortgage, we were iffy about it. So we're like, no, no, no. You know what? Hold that application. And my wife is in the process of getting a job and we'll come back to you so that you can add my wife. This is my husband talking to the loan officer. Okay. So I'm going to say almost 2 weeks went by. Our loan officer went on vacation. She was supposed to be back to work yesterday and she wasn't. So her supervisor called my husband to see if we had any questions. And my husband said, yes, I'm working. Can you call my wife? And she has all the questions. So she called me Long story short, the reason why my husband's uh, loan wasn't to our satisfaction was because she had made it for a 15-year mortgage. No, she's not crazy. We wanted a 15-year mortgage, and she processed it as a 15-year mortgage. But then when she told us, okay, this is what you qualify for, it never occurred to her and not to us either. I mean, we're new at this. Okay, why didn't you try it for a 30-year instead? Because the what they call the DTI, the debt to income ratio, would be higher if we did it for 15 years. Because if you are paying a mortgage in 15 years, that means your mortgage payment is going to be more than if it would be a 30-year mortgage. It would be, let's say, double, right? So the supervisor, it occurred to her, let's try it for 30 years. Long story short, this fixed the whole problem. So she did that. I was on the phone with her for maybe 30 minutes, and she was playing with the numbers, and I'm like, okay, now that's more like it. We wanted a 15-year mortgage, and as a matter of fact, we wanted 15 because we wanted pay it in less than 8, but they don't have such a loan. The lowest they have is the shortest loan they have is a 15-year. So the supervisor was saying, the reason why your DTI was so high with 15 is because you can get a 30-year loan and make it into a 15. You can pay it off in 15 with no problem, but you cannot make a 15 into a 30-year loan. So your debt to income is going to be higher. So I was ecstatic about that. Not only that, I was in a hurry to get a job, which I already got it. I got cleared and everything. Even if I got my offer letter, gave it to them, they would have had to check my husband's credit again. So that would have given his credit a ding, because that's a hard inquiry. And once they check your credit for the application, you have 14 days, at least here in Florida. I don't know if it applies everywhere else, but you have 14 days to shop around, and your credit can be checked throughout those 14 days, and it only appears as one hard inquiry. But given that we were waiting for a week and a half or two from the moment he applied until now that we spoke to her, it was already 14 days. So even if I got an offer letter, they would have had to check his credit again, and it would have affected him because the score would have gone down a little bit more. We both have great credit scores, but we didn't want to take the risk. So when we found out that the loan officer was on vacation, we're like, oh God, we have to wait another 2-3 days. That's going to delay the process even more. Okay, then came Thursday. The supervisor called us, and we're like, oh God, but now we have to talk to somebody else. When we were talking to the loan officer to begin with, you know what? I feel that this happened for a reason. The lady went on vacation. She got sick, and that's why she couldn't come back on time. And I don't mean to wish anybody to get sick, but this was like a blessing in disguise. So my main message here is, instead of thinking of it like, why is this happening to me? Maybe you can reframe it and say, why is this happening for me? Because this is what it is at the end of the day. It wasn't happening to us, it was happening for us. This was cooking in the background for us to get this great news. So, sometimes the detour is actually the destination. Another thing, when my husband leaves in 2 weeks, because he starts in about 2 weeks. He will be going to an Airbnb, and we'll be renting an Airbnb up until the end of July, hoping that we can find something that we are happy with, a home that we're happy with by then. And we did that so that we don't have to break a lease. So we got a home. I will be leaving at the end of June. I will be letting my landlord know that we're leaving between today and the end of this weekend. I'm still trying to get the courage to do that. So we're super excited. We're scared, like I told you in the last video, but we're more excited than we are scared. Another takeaway is that people cross our paths for a reason. And I feel that the supervisor that I'm talking about crossed our path for a great reason. She was able to see, thanks to her experience, she was able to see something that the loan officer didn't see. We didn't know because we don't know what we don't know. We didn't know this loan officer didn't know because we didn't know. So, she was able to change the whole trajectory for us. Listen, the universe has a better plan, even when yours gets disrupted. So in our case, the wrong loan setup, the delay, the vacation, the illness, this all seemed like inconveniences for us, but at the end of the day, it was what was aligning with something better. So always trust the process. That's what I learned. That's what my husband learned. And that's what I hope you get from this video. So guys, thank you for being here. I appreciate you. I've told you a million times. I love you guys. I appreciate you being here. For those of you who continue to come back, thank you. I have not had time to catch up with some of your channels, and I apologize for that, but trust me, I'm sorry about the bell. That is my bird playing with his new bell. We have boxes. We are surrounded by boxes everywhere. Boxes everywhere. We are decluttering. We are packing. I have recorded a couple videos of that process. So if you can relate to anything I've talked about, maybe something specific like buying a home, the loan process, or you've been through an experience that the universe had a different plan for you, and at the end, it ended up being something spectacular, even better than what you expected. Let us know. Share it in the comments. Maybe somebody else can be inspired or motivated by what you went through. Anyway, guys, thank you for being here. I appreciate you. I love you. See you in my next video. Bye.